Today we're taking a look at 4G LTE coverage across the country from AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. I'm gonna let you know how much coverage grew in the last year and which states don't have great coverage at all from either of the carriers. Let's jump right in. I'm Sherry, your telecom expert with WhistleOut. Now, I know 4G is kind of old, we're over it, we're all excited about 5G, and if you want to know more about 5G coverage, we just made that video. Check it out up here. Right now, we're going to check out AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon 4G to see what that looks like. We're going to start with AT&T. I'm going to tell you those numbers, then look at the coverage maps. This time last year, AT&T had a whopping 76% coverage of the United States for 4G, and this year they have 77. So a whole 1%. They did it. We're proud of AT&T. Let's take a look at their coverage map to see where it's strong and where it's weak. Overall, AT&T's coverage map is really impressive. It pretty much covers the entire United States with some gaps in Maine and then on the West Coast in Idaho, Nevada, and California. And there's just spottiness all throughout that West Coast. But overall, the coverage map is really impressive. If you're on AT&T, chances are you're likely gonna have 4G coverage everywhere you go. Next, let's take a look at T-Mobile's 4G LTE coverage map. Last year, they started out with 60% 4G LTE coverage, and now they are at a whole 61% 4G coverage. So the carriers are doing a really good job at expanding 4G throughout the United States. No, really, let's be real for a second. There's a reason it's harder to grow 4G, because there's not many more places to go with 4G. It's almost everywhere it can go without being in the middle of nowhere, right? And even then we still have good coverage, but only seeing 1% growth is kind of minimal, especially when we look at 5G. You can watch that there. And seeing how little 5G grew as well. Are the carriers just giving up on us? I don't know. Let's take a look at T-Mobile's coverage map. T-Mobile's coverage map is dismal, especially when you compare it to AT&T's. Although it is full, there is a lot of blank space. There are a lot of places where T-Mobile just doesn't have coverage, a lot more through the Midwest. Nebraska is fully covered by AT&T, is not covered at all by T-Mobile. You're seeing a lot of dead zones in Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and California. So T-Mobile on the West Coast isn't as strong as AT&T, and honestly, throughout the whole Midwest, it's not as strong either. The East Coast is pretty well covered. Let's take a look at Verizon's 4G LTE coverage and see how it compares to both of those. And you're gonna be shocked. I am shocked. Verizon started last year at 74% 4G LTE coverage, coming right in behind AT&T. And this year, they're at 74% 4G LTE coverage. They did not move even 0.00001 decimal points in coverage according to our numbers and our research. They literally stayed the same. The only redeeming quality Verizon has right now is that they offer a crap ton of perks with their cell phone plans, which I really love. And their service tends to be generally much faster than the others, so they have that going for them. Do they need to grow 4G? I don't know. I think they've maxed out where they can grow. It's just like, it doesn't feel good when we report on these numbers that there is zero growth. But yeah, let's take a look at the map and see how it compares to AT&T, its closest competitor in terms of coverage. Verizon's coverage map is so close to AT&T's, but you can tell that there is slightly less coverage in all the same places. AT&T is a little bit more filled in and Verizon's is not. We're looking at similar dead zones on the West Coast and of course that one dead zone in Maine that no one covers. But look, overall, the state of 4G LTE in the United States is strong. Let me know in the comments who's your favorite carrier, whose 4G LTE service do you prefer? And again, if you haven't checked out our 5G video, go do it to see what the state of 5G coverage looks like for 2023. I'm Sherry, your telecom expert with WhistleOut. Thanks for watching.